What's going on? I'm John.
And I'm Eric.
And we are from the rock band Tantric, and you are listening to
Danny Coleman's Rock On Radio.
There we go.
And here we are.
And here we are once again in Shelley Fabre's dressing room.
Otherwise known as Chapter 11 of the Library Edition.
You know, when there are those who think that I did time,
You do. You're a drummer.
I keep time. Some say not very well, others say fantastically. But could really throw the book at me in this
I could. There's
establishment.
A lot of books to throw at you.
Correct.
They're a little messy right now.
Well, unfortunately, our guest this evening, producer Claire, the Successful Failures, they cannot be with us. Mick's father-in-law was lucky enough to get out of Asheville, North Carolina, before the town became submerged.
Yeah.
Which, I saw the video today, is a mountain town.
Yeah.
It very rarely floods in the mountains.
No, because it keeps going.
Because it runs downhill.
But it's a valley. And they had 2 days of rain before that. So
Well,
everything was wet.
Either way, so Mick got his father-in-law out
Oh, good.
of Asheville, and unfortunately, he had to make arrangements, so the Successful Failures cannot be with us tonight. But I did a very cool interview with a young lady named Akeylah Simone,
Oh, nice. whose
whose father is considered the blues ambassador of Virginia. She is from Hampton Roads, and we're going to play that as soon as we get done with the sponsors.
Nice.
Then in the second hour of our Franken show, you brought something very much to my attention.
I did. Oh. I did.
About our friend and recent Deco Entertainment signee, James Popik,
Yes,
and his
isn't it
Sourland
exciting?
Symphony.
Very much,
Do tell.
yes. Well, it says that he made it through the first round into the Grammys, the nomination process. His Sourland Symphonies made it into the Grammy, I don't know, flow or whatever. So he made it through for one round, and then hopefully he'll keep going, and we could see him be a Grammy winner, which would be awesome.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, but even being a nominated Grammy, nominated.
Now, of
is
course,
pretty
Deco Entertainment had a hand in that as well, because Charlie reached out to me several weeks ago, maybe a little more than a month ago now, and asked me to write an endorsement for Mr. Popik
Oh, cool.
and the Sourland Symphony, which I gladly did. So, and a review of the album, which is absolutely fantastic.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I love it.
It's really good music, really well composed, and fantastic stuff. So check that out, James Popik, Sourland Symphony. But until then, Rock On Radio is brought to you by O'Connor's American Bar and Grill of East Hampton, Mount Holly, New Jersey. They are the official caterers of the Rock On Radio Christmas Spectacular and Rock On Radio in general. I saw Pat O'Connor this past Friday.
Okay.
We played golf. Then I saw him this past Tuesday. We played golf again.
Oh.
in his O'Connor's golf tournament down in Lumberton.
Okay.
So, doing bad. We wound up 7 under par, so we were quite happy about that.
Is that like a team thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Me and your buddy, Sam,
Oh, Sam.
Big Joey, and Sammy Jr. hurt his neck, so we couldn't. There was only 3 of us, but we still did pretty well. So, O'Connor's American Bar and Grill of East Hampton, Mount Holly, New Jersey. The Jersey Shore Jazz and Blues Foundation. Go to jsjbf.org and find out all the great things that they do. Phoenix Art Supplies and Framing, located on Route 611, otherwise known as Southeastern Road, in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. They are currently running a special, $40 off $200 or more in framing to coincide with their 40th anniversary.
Yes.
Correct. New Jersey Stage Magazine. Have to excuse me, everyone. My allergies are really
'Tis the season.
kicking in here. I forgot. Oh, New Jersey Stage Magazine. Where you are listening to this program right now on the Penguin Rocks or on the Penguins Mixcloud. You go to mixcloud.com/the Penguin. You can hear all of our archive shows. My blues music show, Chip Off the Old Rock, Rock on Radio, the
That's
Rock
right.
on Radio Indie
Podcast.
Hour, my podcast, all that stuff is there at mixcloud.com/the Penguin. Asbury Park Vibes, located on Main Street in Asbury Park. If you're a band, a solo artist, entertainer, somebody who wants website content, you need photographs, bios, press releases, Doug and Diane do all that sort of stuff, and they have a great podcast to boot.
They do.
So check them out, asburyparkvibes.com. Sinister Footwear, sinisterfw.com. You can go there and buy some of Tina's fantastic socks. Such a large variety.
Yep. That's fun.
Use the promo code DCRSOCKS at checkout and get 10% off.
Yep. That'd be cool.
Just like Monkey Colt Coffee. MonkeyColtCoffee.com. You go there and buy some of their artisan coffees like bourbon chocolate chip, golden honey agave, toasted coconut rum.
And they're running a Sumatra blend thing, a special this month. So they're going to there's a special price on the Sumatra blend. Like it's a medium roast regular coffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I texted with Matt because he was affected by the hurricane.
He was.
He was. His mother's house flooded, but he was on the 6th floor, so his mom's stay was with him, so that was good. So, but that whole area got, was entirely flooded.
Was any cigar blend harmed in the making of this?
There was no more to be harmed, so. Wah, wah, wah. Are you totally out? Are you like pining after it? Did you need to have another favorite blend? Is that it?
I'm going to have to figure this out.
Oh no, you have nothing?
I've got some.
Oh, he's eking it out.
Not much of my Monkey Colt coffee left. Well, if you go there, monkeycoltcoffee.com, buy one of their fantastic artisan coffees. Use the promo code DCROCKS10. You'll get an additional 10% off of their already reduced prices.
Yeah.
And for every order placed, Matt puts makes a donation to the National Pediatric Cancer Foundation. MonkeyColtCoffee.com. Dee Dee's Lights. You told me Dee Dee just, and I saw this, Dee Dee just celebrated 3 years of business.
Yep.
3 years of chandling.
Yep. She's a chandler.
Yeah.
Chandler.
Chandler. She's chandling. She's chandling the other side.
Yeah.
But Dee Dee's candles are fantastic. Look her up on social media. Dee Dee's Lights. You're not helping me here.
I'm sorry.
You're not even paying attention.
I'm texting. Sorry. Someone needs me to Venmo the money, so, it's
Cigar
important.
Beauty. Go to cigar.beauty.
Speaking of cigars.
Holly is the manager of, or the owner of Crown Majesty Cigars. You can go to crownmajestyscigars.com or follow her on Instagram, cigar.beauty.
Yep.
Lilipies of Princeton, located at 301 North Harrison Street inside the Princeton Shopping Center. They make fantastic little pies and desserts and breads and all that other fun
Worth the
stuff.
trip.
That it is.
Or two.
Correct. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting somebody? Oh, Sandy Hall Music. Sandy Hall Music is, Sandy has her brand new album out called Full Circle.
Yep.
She, too, has recently signed with Deco Entertainment.
That's right.
And she's got the Josie Awards approaching fast. So check her out at sandyhallmusic.com.
Yep. That's probably pretty close to what on my list. I do have a list at some point. I do.
You have a list of our sponsors? Because they've
I
been...
do.
There's possibility of some of them changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the 2-track studios of Deco Entertainment, we cannot forget them.
That's right.
And we're going to hear more about Deco tonight when they... when we have the second hour, which is going to be a replay of Chip Off the Old Rock.
That'd be cool.
Now, for those of you who may or may not be going to WWFM to listen to my blues show on Monday nights, I'm on a hiatus. The last couple of weeks, I've stepped back because of lots of changes at the station,
Right.
and lots of... I'm not sure how to put it.
Technical difficulties?
Yes, we've had a lot of technical difficulties.
Well, they have older
The old
equipment.
equipment that is at the current station just isn't cutting it. So I essentially told them, get it together, and I'll gladly start sending you shows again.
Right.
But they are scheduled to move into a brand new home
Oh, good.
in downtown Trenton. All new equipment. So my blues shows and Chip Off the Old Rock may be sporadic, but I'll let everybody know whenever there's a new one
Good.
afoot.
Good.
I think that's it, right? I got everybody?
You did Old Heads Brewing, right?
No. Old Heights Brewing, the official beer provider of Rock On Radio. Although I may be pulling the plug on that too. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
There's reasons for that too,
Oh, okay.
which we have to discuss.
Okay. I'll look forward to that.
Excellent.
All right.
But for now, they're still a sponsor of Rock On Radio, so check them out. They are located on West Ward Street behind Randy Now's Man Cave in Hightstown, New Jersey. They do have really good beers.
Yes, they do.
Really good beers. Good people, good beers.
Yep.
And I think that's it now.
That's it.
Okay, so what we have to do, I spoke with this woman, Greg Gaughan of Jamie's House of Music in Philadelphia. Sent her my way because she had a show there on Friday, Saturday, October 5th, last
Today.
night.
Oh, Saturday. Right.
Right. So, unfortunately, I couldn't help her because this show doesn't air till now, which is Sunday. But I did interview her for about a half hour and played a couple of her tunes. Very pleasant. She's from Hampton Roads, Virginia. She's on tour here in the Northeast. She had the show at Jamie's. She's got a show coming up October 12th down in Salem County, New Jersey at a winery. I want to say Autobahn Winery or I don't know. I don't remember what she said. Listen to this and you'll hear her. And then she'll be up in Jersey City at a venue that I've actually performed in.
Oh.
Called The Fox and the Crow.
Okay.
All she had to do was hit the Lizzie Rose, and she would have performed in every venue that is the size of a phone booth in New Jersey. But she said she enjoys that, the smaller, intimate setting. So,
could it be the Red, White, and Brew beer company in Audubon, New Jersey?
no, it's a winery.
Oh, it's a winery. Okay, I put
A
brew
winery.
in. That's my fault.
It's a winery.
All right.
Audubon or I don't remember. But you'll hear it now, because I'm going to run the interview I did with Akeylah Simone.
Okay.
And then we'll be back for the second half of Rock On Radio. Well, hello, Akeylah Simone. How are you?
I am doing very well. How are you doing?
I am okay. It was such a pleasure to meet you earlier last week, and I'm glad that Greg at Jamie's House of Music sent you my way. So,
Absolutely. Such a blessing.
yeah, tell all of our listeners, which is in part why you had reached out to me, because you had a gig there on October 5th, was it?
October 5th, yeah, and it was a great time, real intimate. Love their sound system. It was just a great time, great hospitality there.
Yeah, Greg's a good guy. It's a neat room. Very, intimate is a good way to put it. So tell all of our listeners about Akeylah Simone.
Okay, well, all things about Akeylah Simone. I would like to first, we just had this conversation, the disclaimer, I am in no ways related to Nina Simone, so let me go ahead and introduce you to Akeylah Simone. I'm from Hampton Roads. I am a neo-soul, R&B, rock, kind of hip-hop, maybe sometimes kind of fusion artist. I'm an artist that I record in multiple genres. I just have my own sound that touches those genres. And I'm from Hampton Roads. I'm from a family of musicians. My dad, Bobby Black Cat Walters, the blues ambassador of Virginia, and then my mom, her lineage is of a lot of jazz musicians down in Louisiana. So that's a little bit about me. I started performing my solo career just a few years ago. We started to see crazy results and success and coverage very early on. So we toured a little bit. We're on this tour now after spending some time recording an album, which will be coming out next January. Yeah, so that's about me.
Will that be your first album?
It will be my first full-length album, my first LP. I did release an EP back in 2022, January 2022, actually. We saw some great success with that. It was a very vulnerable project. That's the word that I like to use, and that's exactly what I wanted for the first album as well. So we're just kind of picking up and following up with the EP.
Vulnerable.
Just telling my story.
Vulnerable,
yes,
you say?
Yes.
Well,
vulnerable, honest.
Real.
Right. A keyword, yes.
Well, as a musician and an entertainer, you often hear that statement. It's a very a rare side of me, or a
right.
Yeah, this was me kind of bringing out some things that I've kept inside for years. All the standard stuff.
Yes.
And there are certain individuals that I've interviewed over the years who have used that word, vulnerable. And you really had to listen to the lyrics because they were totally honest and right. They were vulnerable when they wrote it. As an artist, a lot of times, I think we tend to mask our pain or joy lyrically because we don't want to give away everything.
Right.
But when you say vulnerable how?
So for me personally, when I say vulnerable, it's it kind of speaks to the time period in my life where I had to out of the masking, grow out of performing in a different aspect, in a different facet for, family, friends, coworkers, and whatnot, and speaking my truth and doing it intentionally and not having to worry about what the repercussions are or worry about what other people think. And that's kind of where the vulnerability comes in for me, where it is my honest truth, and that's so important to me, just to be honest with everybody in my art, because that's what my art is, right? It's an outlet for what's on the inside. But to make sure that what my art is me. It's my choice. It's what I choose to put out, not anybody else's choice, and not up to anybody else's, discretion or whatnot. So that's what it means to me.
Okay, and now art. There was an artist that I interviewed several years back. Gosh, probably 5 or 6 years back now. Anyway, she was here in the U.S. and she was touring. And she was a London resident, or London-born, raised in France, and currently lived in Italy. So she spoke, I think, like 4 or 5 languages. And her name was Alani. And she said on stage when I went to her show that once she produces music, it's no longer hers. People are going to listen to it, and people are going to either like it, dislike it, and interpret it, most importantly, interpret it in there as how it relates to them, so to speak.
Right.
There are plenty of, case in point, Melissa Etheridge. When I first heard the song, Like the Way I Do, I thought she was talking about a man. I didn't know that she was a lesbian. So, yeah,
Well, there it is.
right. I interpreted those lyrics that way. So,
Right.
how important is it for you when you get your music out there to hopefully people will stick to your interpretation, or is that not important at all?
I'll say that's a really great question, because some of the consistent feedback that I've gotten has been on complete ends of the spectrum. They heard my music, they heard my lyrics, and said, I relate to that. I have my own story to tell relative to the story that you just told. I've shared this experience. The other side of the feedback I've gotten is, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I can't interpret your metaphors. It's just not hitting for me. And that right there is kind of part of the vulnerable side too. That right there, my lyrical style is sometimes I use a lot of metaphors. I kind of just write as it comes out, stay in the forefront of my mind and write subconsciously what comes out. And it's it's very metaphorical. It's very poetic, and not everybody is going to understand it. But the moment someone comes up to me and goes, wow, I do know what you're talking about, and our stories don't even have to be the same. They heard those lyrics and they took their experiences, their baggage, what they value, their life, and tied it to that music. And that's when I say, come to my show, let's speak the language that is music. That's what that is to me. So it's not important for someone to take my music literally, or to be able, to be able to relate to it, because we're all different. That's what makes us human. We're all very different. We have different experiences. But for the folks that are able to relate to it in their own way, that's bigger than anything to me.
Well, the greatest thing about being an original artist, of which you are, and for those of you who may just be tuning in to Rock On Radio, I am speaking with Akeylah Simone from Hampton Roads, Virginia, who is currently going to be here is here in the Northeast and hitting several venues, which we're going to get to in a second. But the thing that's great about being an original artist, there's 2 things, at least all the original artists that I've performed with over the years. It's really cool when people come up and request one of your original songs, and then they sing it back to you. And the second, right? Or the second thing is when at the end of the night they come up to you and they say, wow, that really touched me in some way, shape or form. Yes. So that's great. Now, earlier you mentioned we are touring. Who is we? How many pieces in the band? Are they all Virginiaites or Virginians? I don't know, how do you say?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh goodness. So I have a camp of musicians that I tour with, and this is something I learned from my dad, Bobby Blackhead. Always run 3 deep, right? Hampton Roads has a plethora of very talented and skillful musicians. Since we're all kind of here together, that means that most musicians, if you play guitar, if you play keys, if you're a drummer, auxiliary, whatever, you're probably in a bunch of bands, because we're always looking, we're always performing. We have a crazy live music scene here. So what I did was, when I started performing back in 2021, I started to build a network of musicians that I could have access to at any time. And, doing that is, hey, here's an opportunity, here's a stage, who wants to be on it? And I'll say, I think the most we've had on stage at one time is 8 people. We have our core. Alexander Dubois, he's my lead guitar player. He's amazing. He's been with me since 2021. We have Paul Warren out of Hampton Roads. He's my bass player. He's my lead bass player. Another talented musician. We call him the legendary Paul Warren. Probably heard of him. We have Dion Langley and Kadarius Swain. Those are my 2 percussionists. And then we have Bernard on keys. And let me make sure. I always have backup singers that kind of sprinkle in and out. It's really whoever I see in the audience that came to the show that I know can sing. You're coming to sing with us. So yeah. I think Tyler Levy, almost forgot he is my ribbon guitarist. He is from Hampton Roads as well. That is my core group right there that I tour with. What we do though, whenever we get a booking or we're coming to perform in a certain area, we take a real in-depth look at the venue. We have a conversation with the talent buyer, the booking agent, and the venue owners themselves to say, what sounds best in your venue? Do you want the hard rock? Not hard rock, but do you want the loud rock sound? Do you want volume? Am I singing to the masses? Or do you want, I'm going to use that word again, a more intimate show? Just a few of us for more storytelling, up close and personal show. And that's actually the one that we get the most, are the more intimate shows, because of my songwriting, because of the type of music that I perform. I have something to say. We want to make sure that folks are seated and they're ready to hear these stories. And that we're drawing that audience in particular. But yeah, that is my core group right there. Like I said, I have a camp of musicians all the way from Hampton Roads down to Georgia, all the way up to Ohio. So yeah, that's what I do.
Great. Now the only thing I know, it's very, very cool to hear that Hampton Roads has a thriving music scene. Because the only thing I've ever known about Hampton Roads is a friend of mine went down there to be the hockey coach of your East Coast Hockey League team. And then he left there and went on to the Chicago Blackhawks and won the Stanley Cup. So that's all my connection with Hampton Roads is. However, you of course are you are entrenched, which is good, in the music scene. But you have a show. Well, before we get to that, I'll tell you what, we'll come back to discuss that. What are your websites, your Instagram? What's the best way to find Akeylah Simone?
You can find me just about anywhere. I have a website, www.akeylahsimone, that is AKEYLAHSIMONE.com. And then if you go to Instagram, same thing, Akeylah Simone, AKEYLAHSIMONE. Facebook, Akeylah Simone. I don't really do the Twitter thing anymore. If you go to Twitter, I will be up there, but it's weird now. So, and then I want to say that's all. But YouTube. Y'all head over to YouTube. Got a lot of visuals for you. Akeylah Simone.
Okay, great. Well, one of the songs that we are going to play, we're going to play one now, and then we'll play one after we say goodbye. But one of the ones that you sent me is called Summer Breeze. You want to talk about that a little bit, and we'll play it?
Oh, I would love to talk about it. Summer Breeze is about my husband. And when you hear the lyrics, you'll understand it's just a love letter to my husband and what he means to me. We released that back in June 2021, I believe, and then immediately it was Grammy nominated, actually. So it's one I'm very proud of. It's one of the first songs where I took my sound in a different direction from what I had previously recorded. I think it was my third third release. So took it in a different direction and started to experiment there. So you'll definitely hear the rawness in there. Definitely a favorite of mine.
Okay, well, here is Summer Breeze from Akeylah Simone.
Enjoy.
He's my summer breeze. He's always waiting on me, yeah, to come outside, take me for a ride. And baby, I ride. He's my summer breeze. He says, baby, be free, yeah. I open my door to give me some more. My summer breeze. Lately, I've been feeling unsatisfied. This weather is cold, this air is dry. I ain't feeling right. Against my will, he comes on in and he heals. This feeling is real. If looks could kill, all he did was smile. He's my summer breeze. He's always waiting on me, yeah, to come outside, take me on a ride. And baby, I ride. He's my summer breeze. He says, baby, be free, yeah. I open my door to give me some more. My summer breeze. And in his prime, he's always right on time. Heaven sent, he's got the home nine. It helps me unwind. And I can't pretend that when he's not home, I'm bent. And I only crave his wind. He's my summer breeze. He's my summer breeze. He's always waiting on me, yeah, to come outside, take me for a ride. And baby, I ride. He's my summer breeze. He says, baby, be free, yeah. I open my door to get me some more. My summer breeze. Step outside, but the sun on my face is wind in my hair. Now I'm awake. If I start to burn, he comes my way. He's my summer breeze. He's my summer breeze. He's my summer breeze. He's always waiting on me to come outside, take me on a ride. And baby, I ride. He's my summer breeze. He says, baby, be free, yeah. I open my door to give me some more. My summer breeze. He's my summer breeze, yeah. He's always waiting on me, yeah, to come outside, take me for a ride. And baby, I ride. He's my summer breeze. He says, baby, be free, yeah. I open my door so I give me some more. My summer breeze.
Summer Breeze from Akeylah Simone. I'm so glad you called, Akeylah, and you've called because you have some stuff to promote. So go for it. Go ahead.
Just some stuff. We are making our way through New Jersey. Well, really the whole upper East Coast. Yes, we are coming. So next up, we are headed to Auburn Road Vineyards. I'm really excited about that one just because of the setting. I heard it's beautiful up there, up in Salem County. If you guys are in Piles Grove, New Jersey, we will be there October 12th, upcoming this Saturday, 8 to 10. We have a awesome set for you. Ray, come on, grab some wine, a few tapas, whatever they call it, and enjoy. We'll be singing. We have a great set for you all. And then October 19th, headed to Jersey City for Fox and Crow. That is going to be an Akeylah Simone as is concert. And what that means is I will be performing some unreleased music. That's a specialty. That is something I save for certain shows based on the setting and this particular market that we'll be performing to. That's a really exciting one. Fox and Crow 8 o'clock. There's a $10 cover for that one. So bring a little cash. Help us out. We're on tour. So and we're really excited about that one. And then we're taking a small break before we pick back up in December. We're headed down to Louisiana. So Lafayette, Louisiana, down at Atmosphere. We're excited about that one. December 14th. We will be back up in New York, Rochester, New York, at 75 Stetson Street, December 14th. So yeah, grab tickets. Everything is on my website. October 12th, Auburn Road Vineyard. October 19th, Fox and Crow. December 6th, Atmosphere. December 14th, 75 Stetson Street. See you there.
Great. So we spoke a little bit, and I told you I've actually gigged at the Fox and Crow. Boy, you're really you're really hitting the intimate venues on this tour, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's intentional, with purpose, on purpose. That's my motto. It's intentional.
And behind you, though, it's great, though, because there's a side street. Fox and Crow is kind of in the middle of the block, maybe towards the one side a little bit.
Okay.
But if there's a side street alongside of there, that if you look back, I mean, it feels like you can reach out and touch New York City. That is how close you are to Manhattan. And it's just absolutely beautiful in an urban way to just look up and see all the lights. And it's a great backdrop for what you're doing. So that'll be something to look forward to when you go up that way. So before I let you head out of here, we talked a little bit about you, your roots, where you're from, your music. Tell us a little more about your music. Is it rhythm and blues, soul, blues, a little bit of rock and roll, or do you just throw it all in one pot and stir it up and come up with a combination?
It's exactly that. Like I grew up I grew up in a very eclectic household, and that is exactly what they spit out. Like my music taste is extremely eclectic. I love everything. Well, just about everything. It's really hard for me not to like the genre of music or appreciate music for exactly what it is, no matter what it sounds like, and sometimes no matter what it's saying. So that's kind of the music that I produce. What am I feeling at the moment? And then I also like anybody that touches my stage, anybody that touches the production of my music, like my engineer, Johnny Terrell, out of Virginia Beach, Soul Haven, another extremely eclectic human being, great guy. With that, and then his session musicians, and then my musicians, all of us coming from different backgrounds of music, I want to hear you. I want to hear them. I want to hear what you decided to play after you had a rough morning at home, or after you had a great morning at home, whatnot, or if you had a bad week at work. I want to hear how that comes out in the moment when we're recording, when we're performing. Just be you in that moment, and we're going to capture that in time, and that's what we produce. That's what we release. That's very important to me, and that creates a certain authenticity in my music, and that's what I'm looking for. So sometimes I struggle with putting a genre on my music, and if you listen to my catalog, you'll listen to it and go, I'm not quite sure what genre this is, but I do recognize that sound, the Akeylah Simone sound. That'll come out through the vocals, and it'll come out with the fact that the track is so eclectic. So, like I said, I really don't know what the genre is. You're welcome to help me out.
No, because Akeylah, I am a firm believer that genres are something that the old major label record companies created just so they knew where to put you in the record store. Mm-hmm. It's like, that is it. And I have this battle with a friend of mine constantly, because she says she's from Limerick, Ireland, and she's over here, so she calls herself not Americana, but Americelticana. And I kind of laugh at her. I'm like, what the heck is Americana anyway? I have another friend I have another friend who lives in Kelowna, British Columbia, who was nominated for some Americana award. She's like, I'm not even American. What the heck does that mean? You know, so
that makes sense.
So to me, genres are labels that we really don't need. But as an artist, it's good that you can kind of paint with a broad brush and reach so many different people in a fan base. So that's great. Again,
that's my goal. That's my goal.
I know you've got somewhere else to run off to, Akeylah, but before I let you go, one more time, your website, how do we find you?
All right. You type into Google, whatever your preferred search engine is, Akeylah Simone. It should take you to my website, www.akeylahsimone.com, AKEYLAHSIMONE, Akeylah Simone. Then Instagram, Akeylah Simone, same thing. Facebook, Akeylah Simone. YouTube, Akeylah Simone. Pretty much if you type in Akeylah Simone anywhere, you're going to find Akeylah Simone. So.
Beautiful. And again, October 12th and October 19th, where?
Yes, we will be up in New Jersey, Powell's Grove, New Jersey, Salem County, Auburn Road, Vineyards and Winery. That is first October 12th. October 19th, we will be in Jersey City at Fox and Crow, JC.
Beautiful. All right, Akeylah. Well, we're going to go out on one more tune after you and I say goodbye called This Love. You want to tell us about that, or should we just let it go?
Yes, This Love. No, let me tell you all about this one really, really quick. This Love is a very special song. It was actually the second song that I wrote to be recorded back in 2021. Maybe 2020 is when between 2020 and early 2021 is when I wrote it. And when I first wrote it, it was actually after I had a really bad experience with some friends, and I was angry. I was angry for a couple of days, which I don't normally do, and my husband was like, Kayla, just go write a song about it. So I wrote a song about it, and I composed it, took it to the studio, sent it to my mom, and my mom sent it back and was like, Kayla, why are you so angry? This sounds like a wedding song. What are you doing? I was like, oh my goodness, what are you talking about? So I got more feedback. This sounds like a love song. I don't know why your lyrics are so angry. So I actually took it and flipped a few words and turned it into a love song. And it's one of those songs that, like, after you write it and after you record it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get definitely relate to it later on after writing it. But we still kept a little bit of that grunge and that anger in the production. You'll hear it. It's a love song with the grunge and the anger. It's a good one. Enjoy.
I don't know, Akeylah, because I know a lot of angry married people, so maybe
So maybe it works. You haven't even heard the song and you're already relating to it. See, that's
right?
that's the beauty. Speaking the language of music. There it is.
No, I'm not married anymore, but I get your point. Maybe that's why I'm angry.
You'll still relate.
All right. Well, once again, Akeylah,
You got it.
thank you so much for taking your time to call us.
Absolutely.
And
thank you for having me.
oh yeah, and good luck with the two shows here in Jersey on the 12th and the 19th.
So much.
Yeah. So, and best of luck, and make sure you send me the new album when it's done and all ready to be released.
Absolutely. Top of the list, boo. I got you.
There you go. Akeylah Simone, and here is This Love.
He's so into me, he knows his loyalty, and I have too much pride to say I need a friend by me, but I like to push and see, is he really willing to fight? But I won't life gets hard, you see, if I'm speaking honestly, but I'm done running away, and I won't I like to think I'm pretty smart. I didn't think it'd be this hard. Maybe it's on my mind. I know how to communicate. Refuse to leave it up to fate. With him I won't waste my time. And I insecurities. Ooh, they get the best of me. Baby, this was a mistake. I don't mean to get emotional. I usually don't get this low. What is it going to take? But
Akeylah Simone here on Rock On Radio. Do you like her music?
Loved it.
Oh, really? Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well, as I said, as promised, we have James Popik, who, you know more of the story than me. I always feel bad when people, you do all of our social media, well, at least 90% of it, and people thank me.
That's okay.
And I did not even know that he had gotten that far.
That's right.
Because you saw a social media post or something.
Yep.
I kind of been off social media lately.
Really? You?
I'm not when I'm on there. I only do radio show stuff anyway.
Yeah, me too. That's really all I do. This is true.
I don't need to take thousands of pictures of my food.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't need to post about my children on a regular basis.
That's right. Everyone's
I don't need to go on these rants that people go on.
You have in the past. But
You
not
know
in a
what?
while.
About what? Why do you say that? Because I've been accused of that before. I never go on there and rant about anything.
Rant, but you've kind of like when the mask thing with Wawa and like there's a few situations you put out there that when you're,
Considering I've been a member of Facebook since like 2000, I think 6 or 7. I don't think.
I'm saying you did a few. I'm not saying you do it all the time. I'm just saying it's a few. But
Well, no, I want to think about that. I want you to think about that. That was unfair what they did to me. I was trying to draw attention to that Wawa. Now, what are you rolling your eyes for?
because it's a long time ago. I just pulled that out of my hat.
But you see,
just as a thought that you have in the
no,
past.
but that was good. That was good, and you know why that was good? Because the way the world is right now, we're heading for another one of those type adventures.
Yeah, probably.
And people need to stand up for themselves this time and say no. They need to go all Twisted Sister. We're not gonna take it.
I see.
No!
Anyway, let me read you what Jimmy Popik posted underneath his Sauerland Symphonies about what he...
Fine.
Hey all, I just got word the Sauerland Symphony has been accepted by the NARAS for Grammy consideration in the contemporary instrumental field. A lot of people to thank. Stay tuned for updates and more news. So it's James Popik Music, Popik Music. So, or just Google Sauerland Symphony and go on Spotify and you can listen to the album out there. It's amazing.
Oh, it is. It's truly an amazing album. It really is. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not even going to slow down. Here is the Chip Off the Old Rock version, which unfortunately did not air last month.
No.
But we're going to air it here.
Yes, right now.
So here's my talk with James Popik about the Sauerland Symphony. With me during this hour of Chip Off the Old Rock is Mr. James Popik, musician, songwriter, composer, and where are you living these days, Jimmy? Where are you from?
What's up, Danny? Thanks for having me. I am in Hopewell Township, almost exactly halfway between Hopewell Borough and Lambertville.
Perfect.
On the edge of Mercer County.
There you go. Perfect. Even better. So you have you and I are talking once again because you have a new release entitled Sourland Symphony, which you composed, and you have an incredible cast of musicians who brought it to life. So before we get started on the Sourland Symphony, tell us a little bit about James Popik, how you decided to become a musician, how you decided to compose, and one time I remember you telling me that essentially if you wanted something done, you had to do it yourself, and you have decided that you wanted to be a musician, so you took it upon yourself to make it happen. So tell us about James Popik.
Well, I've been living here for 25 years. I grew up in South Plainfield, up in Middlesex County. But as far as my musical history, I mean, I don't know that there was an exact moment where I made a decision. I mean, I was playing piano when I was a little kid, second grade, taking lessons from the nuns in Sacred Heart School. I studied with a guy named T. DeMura from Middlesex. He was a great piano player and guitar player. And at that time it was like middle school when you're starting to get into rock and roll. And then through high school I got into it more, and I ended up going to college for music. I guess that might have been the pivotal moment, when you, after high school, it's kind of like, well, what are you going to do with your life? And, I was lucky I had a couple options, but I didn't really like them. And you know how the story goes. People tell you, oh, well, music is too hard. You got to have something to fall back on. I couldn't do anything else. It was just like, I have to do this. So it wasn't really like an aha light bulb moment. I was just, it was something I had always done. So, at that point in life when you're, like I said, like 19, 20, 21, it really wasn't like a hard decision. It was just like, I have to do this. I've already been doing it for whatever, 14, 15 years. So I just went with it.
Well, and went with it. You did. You've become one of the most. I was going to say, almost said suspected, respected musicians. In the
my respect is a little suspect.
Oh gosh, can't say I'm not human. That's for sure, right? Right. But you've become one of the most respected musicians in and around the Trenton and Mercer County areas and far beyond. Your bands over the years have included 10 Foot Tall, your latest thing, Supernova. You showed your acoustic side in Venture to Zen. So now you've got this brand new composition, and that's exactly what it is, a composition called Sourland Symphony. What made you want to compose is it 9 tracks or 10 tracks that comprise Sourland Symphony?
It's 9 tracks, all acoustic, all instrumental. Thanks for mentioning, the other projects that I've been involved with. 10 Foot Tall is kind of like a singer-songwriter meets jam band. Venture to Zen was an acoustic small group with some great female singers. Supernova is like a funky jazz fusion. So, I do have a lot of different tastes. And all through even playing in cover bands, I would always want to do something a little bit different. And, when you play, you get inspired. So you want to write your own music a little bit. You want want to play your own music in front of an audience. So I found myself writing things that didn't really fit in those other situations. I just said, this is going to be a real special project. It has to be unique. Since it's all instrumental, it requires a different mindset, really. Like, obviously, no lyrics. So the melodies have to be really distinct. The arrangements have to be tight. But at the same time, I wanted plenty of room for improvisation. So I kept things kind of open. But as you mentioned, I got some great players on this record, and they all did a fantastic job. So I went in with compositions, the melodies, the arrangements fairly intact. But within those arrangements, there was plenty of space for the soloist to play, and the percussionists to play what they wanted. So I'm real happy the way it came out. I'm glad that it's getting a good response. I appreciate you having me on shows like this. It's really gratifying.
Well, the album, the record, the digital release, it's all of the above, is people, and for those who are listening to us, they need to understand, I believe, that there is a region where James Popik lives that is called the Sourland Mountains. And they're more like foothills, really, I would guess, because they're it's not like they rise above like the Grand Tetons or the Rockies, but they are a mountain region. They have an ecosystem all of its own, and it's the wildlife, and it's really a beautiful section of New Jersey. And this composition is based on the hikes and your visits and certain spots even within the Sourland Mountains. Am I correct?
Yeah. Like I said, I moved here about 25 years ago, and I love the outdoors. I spend as much time out hiking as I can. And there's a lot of inspiring places within the Sourland. They call it the Sourland Mountain, but it's really just like one long ridgeline going from the Hillsborough area out to the Delaware River near Lambertville. Harbors some endangered species. There's beautiful woodland areas. There's some fantastic rock formations. So as I said before, I was writing some melodies that really didn't fit in the rock idiom. And I, would become inspired by my time out in these beautiful spots in the Sourland. So I said, well, I'm just going to go with this feeling. And I think maybe four or five of the pieces are written specifically about certain locations. Others are a little bit more general. So, it's inspired by and dedicated to the Sourland Mountain. Just to give some people a little background on it. As I said, I moved here about 20-something years ago. And, I met some people, and they were involved in trying to put together a music festival. And I found out that people who lived here in the Sourland region didn't even know what it was or, where they lived. So I got involved with them to try to, spread the word, raise some awareness about the area. And that eventually evolved into the Sourland Mountain Festival. Started out real humble, maybe, 100 people or something like that. But over the years, it grew and grew, and I'm pretty proud of that as well.
As you should be. I remember the first time I ever performed at the Sourland Music Festival was with Joe Weimer and Patty Blee, and there was maybe only a couple of hundred people there. And the last thing, right in 2019, the last time I actually emceed the event, there were several thousand. So you should be proud of what you accomplished with the Sourland Conservancy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, how does all of that translate into the Sourland Symphony with the music? We're gonna play a selection shortly, but you say you've told me that you used to hike there. or
I
enjoy
still
hiking?
do all the time.
Okay.
I do all the time. Like I said before, I'm not that prolific, but I'm always trying to write something new. If not every day, at least, a couple times a month, I'll try to focus on composing something. And, I found myself inspired by all these different places. And I really like improvisational music. I like acoustic music. I like jazz. So what I tried to do was combine all those things, but at the same time have it thematic, so it is a complete record as opposed to just 9 different tracks that are not related at all. So they're all related in the fact that they are inspired by the area. They are related in musical themes. There's some, melodies that are similar in one song that get transformed a little bit in another song. And I kept the instrumentation similar throughout the record to give, again, a cohesive sound to the record as a whole.
Okay, and so it is pretty much in every or just about every sense of the word a concept record for you.
Well, I was going to say that, Danny. If you have any younger listeners, they may not know what that was, but back in the day, that was a big thing, yeah, like a concept record. You could definitely say that this is a concept record for sure.
Definitely. Well, we've got several cuts from the record that we're going to play. One of which is Green Mountain Melting, which is that the opening track?
Yes, that is track 1, side 1.
All right, you want to tell us a little bit about Green Mountain Melting?
Well, this one, like I said before, some of the songs are referring to specific places. This one is not, but it is inspired by mountains in general. So the melody is kind of, goes up and comes down, and it has some water-like features. So let's listen to it, and hopefully people will enjoy it.
All right. Well, once again, I am on the phone with Mr. James Popik. He is my guest during this hour of Chip Off the Old Rock. His brand new release, Sourland Symphony, is just out. And when we come back, we're going to find out more about how to find that record, discover that record, purchase that record, and more about James Popik. But here's Green Mountain Melting. Green Mountain Melting from James Popik, from James Popik's Sourland Symphony. How can we find the record so that people can listen to it?
Well, it's on a bunch of different platforms. The best thing to do is just go to my home website. It's my name, jamespopikmusic.com. So JAMESPOPIK music, jamespopikmusic.com. And there is a link there to the Sourland Symphony project. There's also a special Facebook page. If you go on Facebook, the Sourland Symphony. It's on SoundCloud. I also have a special Bandcamp page for my recordings, and you can find it on Bandcamp. If you either go on, search Bandcamp for my name, James Popik, or even Bandcamp Sourland Symphony, it'll pop up.
Great.
And Bandcamp is really good because very artist-friendly, very easy to navigate, and you can purchase the digital copy of the record there.
All right. One of the things, though, that you did for this record is, as we said earlier, you hired some incredible musicians. Now, you play the guitars on the record, right?
Correct.
Okay. And I know that you got my man Chuggy, Leslie Chuggy Carter, on percussion. Yep. And who else is on the record?
We have Joe Denizen on violin, virtuoso, lives up in North Jersey. Fantastic player. He plays on all 9 tracks, featured artist. He's most recently been on the road touring with Kansas. He has his own band called Stratospherious. On this record, he plays acoustic violin, but he has some fantastic stuff with 7-string electric violin. He's got a world music project called Sweet Plantain. When major artists like The Who or Bruce Springsteen come to town, they want to hire a string section. He's always the go-to guy. So I encourage people to check it out just for that.
Writing music in itself is not an easy task. But when you have to write, or you write and compose instrumental pieces, and you're trying to convey a mood or a feeling or paint a picture, it's easy to paint a picture with words at times. But how do you do it when you make the decision to go all instrumental? And why did you decide to go all instrumental?
It's a personal choice in terms of my taste. I like instrumental music. To me, Danny, it's actually easier to write instrumental music than a lot of lyrics. I mean, I've written songs with lyrics in the past, and I don't know how to put it. It's like, to create a really good song with excellent lyrics, to me, is harder than music.
Really?
Because, because it's not like conversation like we're having now. It's not like poetry. You have to create a mood. You have to tell a story. You have to engage people. But it has to be done so concisely, but at the same time very imaginatively. A well-written lyric song is very difficult to do. And I did this record not because I didn't want to do that. It's because I personally like instrumental music. I think it's actually open for more interpretation. A lot of people gravitate towards songs and music that has lyrics simply because you have to have a singer. So it is more conversational. Humans, as just in general, can relate to another person singing because it's a form of speech, really. So when it's instrumental, it is a little bit more abstract. But for me, it offers more creativity. when you're writing songs, it has to be simpler, to put it plainly. So when you have an open-ended palette where you can just write anything musically, you can do anything you want. So to me, it's more creative to have instrumental music.
Well, it definitely leaves you room for improv, for improvisational music as well when it comes down to the live versions of some of the material. Did that ever come into play where you're thinking, if I'm going to do this live, I got to kind of keep it in this vein or that vein, or maybe we do that? Because your other band, which, once again, I will tell anybody who listens, the set you did at the Long Branch Jazz and Blues Festival a couple of weeks ago with Supernova was incredible. And I don't think I have ever seen, in all the years I've been emceeing that festival for the Jersey Shore Jazz and Blues Foundation, I don't think I have ever seen that many rounds of applause mid-selection. I mean, these people were giving you guys, I think there's a standing ovation or two in there as well.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the song. I mean, the musicianship was just spectacular. And, that's a testament to your ability, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, I'm real proud of that band. We're going to be doing some recording this winter, so I'm looking forward to that project as well. Yeah, I mean, there's many angles that you could come at it. All the musicians in that band are stellar. It's a high-energy, funky, jammy jazz band. So we have a lot of fun on stage. And I think that's what people respond to. We're having fun, the crowd's having fun. We feed off their energy. So to me, that, the instrumental aspect, the improvisational aspect brings up the element of surprise. I think what people are responding to is almost like, wow, I didn't expect that to happen. So that element of surprise is really refreshing. There's nothing like a well-written song, but in a pop format, like if you go see that band the next night, they're going to play it the exact same way. And after a while, that gets a little boring to me, So that's why I like that open-ended kind of improvisation. It takes what they call restraint. I mean, if you open it up too much, then it's like, all right, let's wrap it up here. But the musicians in Supernova have that ability to create something real fresh, surprising, and make a statement and be done, So.
Well, and the thing with that band is you guys were cooking with gas, as the old expression goes. Everything is so crisp and clean and upbeat and just fusion at its best. And
yeah, well, we got great horn players. We had Carl Latham on drums and Chuggy on percussion, Tom McMillan on bass. So you got a rhythm section like that. It's kind of like you can do anything.
Oh, no kidding. I mean, fantastic. But now, so now I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
You got a cooking band like Supernova, and then you have this very technical, somewhat laid back in comparison, Sourland Symphony. Was it difficult for you to slide in between the two?
No. I'm thinking the best way to compare and contrast the two. The material is different. So there's different instrumentation. So I could see why you're asking that question, because some people would have a difficulty going from one to the other. But I've done a lot of acoustic playing in my life. I started off on acoustic guitar, when I was a kid. I still do a ton of solo acoustic gigs. So that's bread and butter for me. And like I mentioned, the rhythm section for Supernova, we had some great players on the Sauerland Symphony. Mark Ament, he's from the Philadelphia area. He played bass on most of it. In addition to Chuggy, Akeylah, he played percussion. Dan Monahan, a great drummer from Philadelphia, was on 2 tracks. So the rhythm section, again, for this project was so good that when I asked the soloist to come in, it's like a warm couch or something. Like it's so comfortable. You can't go wrong. You know, when the groove is there, you know this, Danny. You're a percussionist. You're a drummer. Like when the groove is there, you can almost do anything on top of it. It's going to sound good. You know, people don't realize this. Like an average listener, they always pay attention to the singer or the guitar player or something, but the drummer is the most important person in the band. If the drums and the rhythm are not there, it's crap.
Very true.
You know, if you got a great bass player and a drummer, you know, a guitar player can play almost whatever he wants on top of it. So, you know, like I said before, I'm proud of the compositions and everything, but if you bring in great players, then you're good to go.
Well, first off, thank you for finally proving my point that I've been trying to stress for years about us drummers, man. I mean, no, but all kidding aside, right? If you got a drummer that can't stay, and it's not necessarily so much about keeping time, because if you play jazz fusion or any kind of progressive rock, you're always changing time. But it's a matter of the time signature, playing the groove, as you said, within the time signature. And the guys that you put together for both of these projects are just amazing. They really are. One of the other tracks on this record is called West Mountain. What's that about?
That one, it was inspired by not a particular area, but a general area of the Sauerlands. So for those who know Jersey a little bit, as I said before, the mountain goes basically east to west. It's bisected by where Route 31 goes over the hill. So the east side is more of what you commonly know as a mountain. It's got more of a peak. There's a lot of rocks. The west side is a little bit more almost like a plateau. It's farmland. There are some wooded areas, but it's just a little bit different than the east. It has a little bit different character. So I wanted to represent that in a more of a what they call a pastoral kind of setting, a little sweeter sound. There's, again, Joe Denizen on violin. There's cello on this. And in addition, I forgot to mention Andy Yanoviak is on percussion on most of these songs. He did a great job on the cymbals. You know, if you want to listen to the percussion, Chuggy's on this. Andy does toms and cymbals. So the melodies on the guitar, the strings really work together well with the percussion and the drums.
All right. Well, once again, I have James Popik with his latest release and project, Sauerland Symphony. Websites one more time, James, before we play West Mountain.
My home website is my name, jamespopikmusic.com. You can also go to jamespopik.bandcamp.com, and that has the digital copy of the Sauerland Symphony along with some other stuff.
3.
West Mountain, James Popik from the Sourland Symphony. Now, this album, James, actually, there's some rumblings about Grammy consideration, maybe?
Well, thank you for bringing that up. It's going to be submitted for consideration.
Okay.
I'm fairly confident that it'll get past the first round. Real quick, I think people are familiar with the Grammys from the show on TV, but there are like 70 different categories: classical music, folk, blues, all sorts of different things. This record is going to be submitted in the alternative jazz category. It may get moved to world music. We'll see. But what happens is you submit your record. It gets adjudicated. Then it gets put out for the first ballot. Grammy voters then vote on that to nominate it, and then it comes back again, what they call the second round, where you have all the nominations. Second round of voting determines the winners. So it's like almost like a three-step process. But it has been submitted. We'll see if it makes the first round, probably early November. There's like a month of September where people consider things. Voting starts in October.
Gotcha. Now, is that the first time you've ever been nominated for a Grammy, or?
Well, yes. I was on a children's music record that got nominated, but I wasn't a producer or a writer. I was a sideman. So they gave me the designation of Grammy featured artist. They get real particular about it. And I don't blame them, because people can throw around these terms. I was nominated. No, you weren't. So I was on a record, but I was a featured artist.
Now, was that the same record with Vinny Lopez and Amy Ote and?
It was with Amy and Alex. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that one. Yeah, excellent. That's great.
Yeah.
But that is funny, isn't it? I once did a gig with an artist who publicized the gig that we were doing, that she was opening up for Marshall Tucker. And it was a 3-day festival. Marshall Tucker was the third day. We were on the first day.
Right.
So, now if you said, maybe we share a stage, or we're sharing a stage that will be taken over by Marshall Tucker, but it always cracks me up how people will say things like you just said. Where
stretch the truth a little bit,
Yeah. With their keyboard muscles. So with the record, and I know you've got it out there and you can find it on the Bandcamp site and various other platforms. So on these other platforms that you have it on, do you find that one is more beneficial, not only to you as an artist, but it kind of leans more towards the instrumental portion? And what I mean by that is, if you're going to go on Spotify or you're going to go on Pandora or any of those, one may be more favorable towards hip-hop, or one may be more favorable towards rock or country. Do you find that is it being listened to pretty evenly throughout all of the digital platforms, or is there one that's really been more friendly to it than others?
Well, as far as listening is concerned, Spotify is the number one streaming platform, and it doesn't really matter by genre. You can start with something like the Sourland Symphony, and then they'll maybe go into a modern classical piece, or they may go into something by Pat Metheny, something that's next to it, basically. So it's kind of like, all right, we'll start here and we'll move along, but it's similar in sonic palette. the Bandcamp page that I mentioned before is more of a platform where you can listen to music, but it's for purchasing the record. So I like Bandcamp because of that. It's very artist friendly, but again, it has thousands of records available, and you can search by genre, and they can suggest things for you, which is good. So as far as listening, Spotify is obviously the one you want to go to, but if people are interested in digging a little deeper and listening to the record as a whole and buying it, then you would have to go to Bandcamp.
Okay, so that's...
I will mention that around September 3rd today, next month, in about 4 or 5 weeks, the Sourland Symphony will be available on vinyl. So I'm going to be promoting that next month.
Okay, then we can get that through your website?
Oh, yeah.
Which is what again?
JamesPopikMusic.com.
James Popik Music. Where do we go from here? Is there a Sourland Symphony sequel, or are you going to... Well, I know you said you're going over the winter, maybe with Supernova, into the studio. But
well, I'm still trying to put together a show for this record in the area, in Hopewell, Lambertville, somewhere around the area. So it's still a possibility for a live show of the record. If not, probably not until next year, because as you just mentioned, I'm going to record with Supernova in January or February, and then we'll give that a chance to have some life, and then maybe a Sourland Symphony 2 next winter. I usually like to record in the winter. Summertime is real busy gigging, and January, February, things slow down, so that's a good time to record.
Very true. We have one thing left here. We have the one track left that we're going to play, the Shagbark Shuffle, named after the trees that are in the Sourlands, correct?
That is correct, yes. Hickory tree with 5 leaves, or the leaves have 5 petals. So for you percussion aficionados, you can listen to one section is in 5/4.
There's a time change we talked about. All right, well, here is from the Sourland Symphony. Here is Shagbark Shuffle by James Popik, and then we'll be back to wrap it up here on Chip Off the Old Rock. the Shag Bark Shuffle from the Sourland Symphony, courtesy of James Popik. James Popik had a very supportive cast. You said there were. I know there were more than just Chuggy and Joe Denizen and yourself on the record. So, who else was there, and where did you record it anyway?
Yeah. So right off the top here, thank you, Danny, for having me. This is great. It's great just talking with you and talking music, and it's a real privilege. So let me just give a shout out to some of the other players that were on it. On cello is Aaron Minsky and Dan Castle. I had Joe Peterson play on a couple tracks. Fantastic bass player. I do a lot of jazz work with him. He's down in Jersey Shore area. Mark Stewart came in and played mandolin and bouzouki. We didn't get a chance to play Devil's Half Acre Blues, but he played a bouzouki with a violin bow. You got to check out the record. You that. Pretty wild.
I have heard that cut. You are right.
Yeah. And as I said, Andy Noviak on drums, Dan Monahan, Mark Ament on bass, and Kartikeya Arul. He played hand pan, some percussion, some funky cajon on a couple tracks. So there's, as I said before, the sonic palette is cohesive, but there's enough variety in the instrumentation and the percussion to give a nice variety too. So,
well, the Sourland Symphony, you truly, in a review I did on it or about it for you, it truly does paint pictures with just music. There's no words needed to sense some of the things you're trying to convey. And then you sent me the album, and I looked at the back, and I'm like, okay, I'm not too far off. Maybe in some spots, but not that bad, you know? And it is a fantastic record. You are a fantastic talent, and I cannot be more thrilled that you spent the past hour with me here on Chip Off the Old Rock.
Well, thanks again, Dan. I do want one last thing to say. Thank you to Hopetown Sound in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. That's the recording studio, Hopetown Sound. But yeah, thanks, Danny, so much. It's like I said, it's great fun to hang with you and talk music.
Well, always, James. Always a good time. Thank you so much. Good luck with Sourland Symphony. Good luck with Supernova. And I know we'll be talking again.
Okay, man. See ya.
All right. Well, James said we didn't play Devil's Half Acre Blues, but we
did.
just did. So,
That's so cool.
now, earlier in the program, we heard Akeylah Simone. Mm-hmm. She mentioned how her father is the blues ambassador of Virginia,
Right.
state of Virginia. He goes by Bobby Blackhat, and it's Black Hat music. Mm-hmm. Well, Devil's Half Acre Blues, kicking off the month of Halloween, and Samhain, as they call it. That's when the veil between the spirit world is supposedly the thinnest, and our world.
Mm-hmm. That's why there's All Saints Day on November 1st.
The next day, correct. Mm-hmm. So, Bobby Blackhat has a song, and it's quite lengthy, but it's called The Grim Reaper. It was the tuna moose. Anyway, so, or the tuna pate. What the heck did the Grim Reaper say in A Life of Brian?
I never saw the movie.
Or not A Life of Brian. One of the Monty Python movies. I don't know. Anyway. So, my apologies to our affiliates in the UK.
I know, right?
But we're going to play that, and we're going to go out on that song.
Okay.
And now, next week we have... Did we say we had next week? Oh, we got the Garden State Great. The Garden State Great, otherwise known as Kumo G's, our buddy Kumo G from... It was good to see him at the Blues Festival, Jazz and Blues Festival. So we have him next week, scheduled.
Right.
So until then, rock on!
Woke up this morning, Grim Reaper standing by my bed. Woke up this morning, Grim Reaper standing by my bed. Lordy Lord, oh Lordy Lord, think I done woke up dead. Looked up at the sun, couldn't see no light. Prayers long forgotten, trying to sight. Dead friends and family whisper, Grim Reaper done stole your life. The hood and bones reached out to me, offered a cold and vacant grin. Brought memories of my history, things that could have, should have been. Too late, Mr. Blues Man. Time to atone for your sin. heaven or hell? Tell me which will it be? Heaven or hell? Tell me which will it be? Grim Reaper has no answer. I hear the bell tolling for me.